Blood dripped from my clenched fist onto the shattered picture frame on my Victoria Island office floor. The smiling faces of my family at my first wedding mocked me from behind the cracked glass. My phone buzzed for the 20th time my mother again. After 18 years of silence, on my desk lay the DNA results that had just destroyed everything I thought I knew about my past. About my first wife Adana's pregnancy. About my cousin Dipo's betrayal. About the child that was stolen from me. The cut on my hand throbbed as I picked up a shard of glass, seeing my distorted reflection. The face that had appeared on Channels TV last week, the successful restaurateur, the inspiration, the self-made man. If only they knew the bitter truth I had just uncovered. Some secrets, once revealed, can never be buried again. And some betrayals can never be forgiven. For Olayinka Adebayo, success had come at a price. At 44, he had built Lagos's most celebrated restaurant empire, from a mama-put street food to high-end dining that attracted governors and celebrities. 28 restaurants across Nigeria, 3 luxury hotels, and a catering company that served presidential functions. But success couldn't fill the void left by his family's betrayal 18 years ago. The morning sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his office at Adebayo Holdings, highlighting the latest issue of Forbes Africa on his desk, face on the cover. The headline reading, "From Surreal to Success, Nigeria's Restaurant King," the same feature that had aired on Channels TV last week, triggering this storm. "Sir," his assistant's voice crackled through the intercom, "they're here again. Your parents and sister. Security says they're refusing to leave the lobby." Yinka's hand tightened on his Mont Blanc pen, the same one he'd used to sign his divorce papers 18 years ago. Through the glass walls, he watched them 15 floors below. His father's agbada was still immaculate, the same style he'd worn the day he disowned Yinka. His mother's geli was perfectly wrapped, hiding the gray hairs that hadn't been there 18 years ago. Between them stood his sister Folake, fidgeting with her coral beads, looking as trapped as she had the day she told him never to contact her again. Yinka's hand shook as he reached for his phone to call security. But something stopped him, a memory of his mother's voice singing him to sleep as a child, his father's proud smile at his university graduation, Folake's tears at his first wedding. Before the betrayal, before everything fell apart, "Let them up," he said finally. "But call my wife first." While waiting, he thought about Zainab, his wife of 12 years. She had been his sanctuary when he rebuilt his life, the mother of his 10-year-old son Malik. She deserved to know what was coming. "Yinka," Zainab's warm voice came through his phone. "Are you okay? They're here again. But this time, I have proof. About Adana. About everything." A pause. The DNA results came. Yes. All these years, they knew. They all knew. "Do you want me to come?" "No, stay with Malik. I'll handle this." The office door opened. Time hadn't been kind to his father. Babajit Adebayo's once commanding frame seemed smaller, though his eyes still held that stern look that had terrorized Yinka throughout childhood. His mother, Falasaid, reached for him, but stopped when he stepped back. Folake, his younger sister, looked everywhere but at him. 18 years, Yinka said quietly. "It took my face on TV for you to remember you had a first son." "Yinka, please," his mother began. "You don't understand." "Don't understand?" His laugh was harsh. "When Adana left me, when everyone stopped taking my calls, when Uncle Deji fired me from his company, when I was living in a one-room apartment in Icorda selling bread to survive, what didn't I understand?" "Your Uncle Deji," his father started. "Uncle Deji." Yinka's voice rose. "The same Uncle Deji who made you all cut me off? The same Uncle Deji who helped my wife divorce me? That Uncle Deji." He pulled out the DNA results. "Or maybe you mean the Uncle Deji who helped hide my child from me." The color drained from his mother's face. His father sank into a chair. Folake burst into tears. How did you find out?" his father whispered. "Does it matter? All these years, you knew I had a daughter. You knew Adana was pregnant when she left me. You knew she was seeing my cousin Daipo behind my back. You knew everything. We had no choice, his mother pleaded. Your uncle Deji threatened to destroy your father's business. He said he would make sure none of us ever worked in Lagos again. He said we would never see the baby. The baby! Yinka's voice was dangerous. My child, my daughter, who is now 18 years old, who thinks Daipo is her father, who has never known her real father because you all chose money over truth. He walked to the window, looking out over the Lagos lagoon. Do you know how I found out? Rumors, whispers, people who remembered things. So I hired investigators, did DNA tests. While you were all living your comfortable lives, protected by Uncle Deji's money, I was piecing together how my entire family betrayed me. Son, please. His father stood up. Now that you're successful, we can make this right. Now that I'm successful. Yinka turned, his eyes blazing. That's why you're really here, isn't it? Because now I have something you want? Because now Uncle Deji's power means nothing compared to mine. No, it's not like that. Folake stepped forward. Then what is it like? Tell me, sister. Tell me why you watched me suffer for 18 years. Tell me why you helped hide my child from me. Tell me why any of you deserve to be in my life now. The silence was deafening. Her name is Chioma, his mother finally said. She's studying medicine at the University of Ibadan. She's brilliant, just like you. She deserves to know her real father. Get out. Yinka's voice was ice. Get out before I forget you're my parents. But son. Security. His voice boomed across the office. As the guards appeared, he turned to his family one last time. You let Uncle Deji steal my child. You chose his money and power over your own son, over your granddaughter's right to know her real father. Now live with that choice. After they left, Yinka sat in his office until the Lagos sunset and the lights of Victoria Island came alive. He thought about the young man he'd been 18 years ago newly married, working as an electrical engineer in Uncle Deji's company, dreaming of opening his own restaurant someday. How that dream had seemed impossible after Adana left and his family cut him off. He thought about the years of struggle starting as a bread seller, saving every kobo, finally opening a small book cut in Surulere. How his friends had stood by him when his family wouldn't. How he'd met Zainab at a catering event, her quiet strength helping him heal. That night in their Lekki home, he showed Zainab everything: the DNA results, the investigators' reports, the social media photos of Chioma he'd found. She looks just like your mother, Zainab said softly. She deserves to know the truth. Yes, she does. But Yinka, be careful. This truth will hurt her too. It took a week to find the right words. A week of drafting and deleting messages on Instagram. A week of watching his daughter's life from afar, her photos in medical school, her posts about wanting to open a free clinic someday, her smile that was indeed so much like his mother's. Finally, he sent a message explaining everything, attaching the DNA results and old photos of him and Adana. He ended with a simple request. I would like to know you if you're willing. 3 weeks passed, the longest 3 weeks of his life. Then, I always knew something wasn't right. I looked nothing like Daipo. When can we meet? They chose a quiet restaurant in Ibadan neutral ground. Yinka brought Zainab and Malik. When Chioma walked in, his heart stopped. She had his height, his mother's smile, his own determined chin. She had brought her boyfriend Alyamide, another medical student who held her hand protectively. Adana, my mother, she denied it at first, Chioma said after the initial awkward greetings. But when I showed her the DNA results, she broke down, told me everything. About her affair with Daipo, about Uncle Deji's threats, about how everyone conspired to keep the truth from me. And Daipo, Yinka asked carefully. I haven't spoken to him since I found out. He's not a bad person. He raised me well. But he knew. They all knew. Malik, who had been quiet throughout, suddenly spoke up. Does this mean you're my big sister? Chioma's smile was warm. Yes, I guess it does. Over jollof rice and grilled fish, they began the delicate work of building a relationship. Chioma shared her dreams of opening a clinic in underserved areas. Yinka offered to help fund it when she graduated. Malik showed her pictures of his football matches. Zainab shared stories about Yinka's early days running his first restaurant. I used to pass your restaurants, Chioma said suddenly. The original one in Suralier. I always wondered why Grandma and Grandpa got emotional whenever we drove past it. They knew, Yinka said quietly. They chose their comfort over your right to know the truth. As weeks turned into months, Chioma became a regular visitor at their Lekki home. She and Malik developed the teasing relationship of true siblings. She called Yinka Daddy for the first time during a family dinner, making him cry in front of everyone. Zainab helped her plan her graduation ceremony. His parents and Uncle Deji's family kept trying to contact him. They sent messages through mutual friends, wrote emails begging forgiveness, tried to justify their actions. Uncle Deji even came to his office once, his power play falling flat against the empire Yinka had built without him. Your father was trying to protect his business, Uncle Deji had said. No, Yinka replied. He was protecting your business. And now you have nothing I want. One evening, as he watched Chioma helping Malik with his homework in their living room, Zainab came to stand beside him. They're still trying to reach you, she said softly. Your parents, Folake, even Adana called. Let them try, he replied. They had 18 years to choose love over fear. I'm choosing love now. Chioma looked up then, catching his eye. Her smile, his mother's smile, hit him in the chest. But now it brought joy instead of pain. Outside, Lagos traffic honked and hummed. Inside, his daughter was teaching his son about human anatomy, their laughter filling the space that betrayal had left empty. And Yinka Adebayo, the boy from Suralier who had lost everything and built it back stronger, finally felt whole. But life has a way of bringing old debts due. A week later, Uncle Deji died suddenly of a heart attack. At the funeral, which Yinka attended only for appearance's sake, he overheard whispers about a letter the old man had left, a confession of sorts, detailing all the lives he had manipulated, all the power plays that had torn families apart. As Yinka watched his cousin Daipo sob over their uncle's grave, he felt no triumph, no vindication. Only a deep sadness for all the years lost to pride and power. That night, as his family sat around their dining table, Chioma home for the weekend, Malik telling jokes, Zainab serving her famous egusi soup, Yinka's phone buzzed with a message from his father. Your uncle's last words were about you, about his regret. Please, son, let us try to heal what he broke. Yinka looked at his daughter, saw in her face the same question he had carried for 18 years. Can some broken things be made whole again? The answer, he realized, was sitting right there at his table. In the family he had built from the ashes of betrayal. In the love that had proven stronger than lies. Some debts, he typed back to his father, can only be paid with time. Start there. And in the warm Lagos night, surrounded by the family he had found and the family he had made, Olayinka Adebayo finally let go of the bitter taste of betrayal, replacing it with the sweeter flavor of forgiveness, earned slowly, given carefully, but healing all the same.